This episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show is brought to you by American Helix. The American Helix is a revolutionary new concept in smoking technology. Designed and manufactured by American Glassblowers, this pipe is light years ahead of its time. Based on Bernoulli's principle, the shape of the pipe, along with an innovative intake system, creates a Venturi effect through precision micro holes in the chamber, which results in a slower burn that conserves tobacco and gives a smooth, refreshing experience, making the American Helix the smoothest hitting pipe on the market. For further info or to locate their products, you can find them online at AmericanHelix.com. That's AmericanHelix.com. This episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show is brought to you by Mountain Glass Arts. For the month of July 2016, Mountain Glass is offering Golden Gate Glassworks tubing for 20% off. Just put in the code GOLDENGATE, that's GOLDENGATE at checkout. And for all you soft glass nerds, they have their Double Helix Glassworks sale going on, 15% off. Just put in the code DHELIX, that's DHELIX at checkout. And for any other questions or concerns, go to mountainglass.com. That is mountainglass.com. This is the Wise Guy Radio Show, a podcast dedicated to educating and inspiring through conversations with today's top talents in the world of glass. We will be dissecting their journeys in hopes to deliver actionable content that you, the artist, can start implementing now, helping you grow not only as a creative spirit, but also a successful artistic entrepreneur. With a little organization, relationship building, and your artistic ability, you can obtain greatness. Climb aboard, whether an artist, retail owner, or enthusiast. We have a ton of fun in store for you. Welcome to the Wise Guy Radio Show. Hey, what's happening? Welcome to the Wise Guy Radio Show, episode number 117. This is Jay Michael, your host. Thank you so much for tuning in today. With 17 years of experience behind the torch, I am as excited as always to bring you conversations with artists, sharing their stories in hopes to inspire and entertain while helping you grow your business. And today is no exception. And yeah, I said 117. I kind of fucked up a little bit and realized that the last podcast I said was 118 and jumped ahead of myself. So I'm going to back up one number just to make sure that we are legitimately staying on track with our sequential numbers, even though this is completely out of sequence. So some kind of paradox, weird thing. Hopefully the black hole in the universe doesn't open up and destroy our cosmos as we know it. So stay tuned. Hopefully we all survive this episode. And I know in the past I have also missed episodes, actually just one. And that was another boo-boo. But you know what? We're all human, right? We all fuck up, make mistakes. And I'm admitting it. I made a mistake, yet I'm correcting it. So this is 117. Thank you for tuning in. Nice little ripple. So today's episode, we are going to be covering 5 daily habits for a more productive day in the studio. And I'm excited about this one. This is actually a kind of a recap of an episode I did last year. I had an episode I did on the way home from work early on in the podcast. I think it was like episode maybe 9. And I called it the Delirium Hour, where I was driving home from work and kind of out of my brain, did like a 4 or 5 day stint there and just kind of was tired and figured I'd record on the way home, and I did. And this is what I recorded was this particular series of the 5 productive daily habits. But I wanted to go ahead and go over it again and get more in-depth and talk about it because I feel that by creating habits on a daily basis, it makes us all better human beings, makes us more productive. It also helps us continue to move forward with work and orders and also our daily activities in life. It also helps you to continue to stay organized, which is even more important as we all continue to grow our businesses and relationships and product lines and all that fun stuff. So I hope you guys do enjoy this episode. But I also wanted to, before we get into it, kind of go over a couple things. I had a fun little chit-chat with my podcasting coach, Mike Sharkey, who has a show called The Talent Show. You guys can find him at thetalentshow.com. I'll have a link to the episode itself. But he sat down with me after I had 10 episodes out to kind of just touch base and see where I was and to share my story with his audience. And then we checked in after 110 episodes to see where I was at that point. And that was what the current episode was. I think it was actually 112 or something like that. But anyways, Mike Sharkey is a really good friend of mine. Him and I have kind of been on this podcasting, I shouldn't say kind of, we have been on this podcasting journey together. And it's pretty cool. I actually inspired him and influenced him to start his show. He was in kind of a rut in life and not really sure what direction he wanted to take, and we had a fun chit-chat conversation before my wedding 3 years ago, and he was here doing some tequila shots, and we started bullshitting, and I was sharing my story about what I was wanting to do with the show, and this is 6 months, or actually almost 8 months, maybe longer out before I even bought my equipment and started setting up for the show. And we just kind of started brainstorming and getting ideas together. And then he contacted me about 3 weeks after the fact. We got back from our honeymoon. Super excited to let me know he was in the same boat of wanting to start a podcast. So long story short, we just sat down and did this fun interview. And definitely, guys, go check it out because it gives you some insights into where I'm at in my space outside of the glass world. But also to give you some insights if you've ever been interested in doing a podcast, whether it's about glass or about just something that you're passionate about. And a lot of folks out there that have podcasts out there like this, really, for myself personally, I do this because I love to do this. I'm not as consistent as I'd like to be. I don't have all the time in the world. I'm trying to get more of a system set up where I can actually do like batch episodes, do like 3 a week or some shit like that. So I have got my content in the bank in a sense. But really, I guess the whole point is that when you're passionate about something, you're going to put your heart and soul into it, whether it's your glass again, or fitness, or food, or painting, drawing, whatever it is you do. Play music, it's a heart and soul. And not to say that, I don't know, I guess what I'm trying to say here is basically if you're interested in doing a podcast and you have a topic you'd like to do, find something that you're passionate about. And, again, if you think you're knowledgeable and you have things to share about, why not? So check out this podcast episode if you guys can, if you'd like to. Again, it's called The Talent Show. If you've ever been interested in kind of the behind the scenes of what goes on here at the show and also about what it takes to be a host, not just running a podcast, but to be a better host. And I'm being a bad host here by rambling on, so I'm going to continue moving forward. So I also want to let you guys know that there's some current events going on here in our world of glass. Don't forget, coming up in October, the 10th through the 12th in Madison, we've got Glass Roots coming up. Also, I thought was kind of crazy, but makes kind of sense, but not really. But Champs in Denver is September 26th through the 28th. And then the big Galleria show is going to be in Miami the 27th and 28th. I think it's 27th, 28th, maybe the 29th. But either way, I thought it was kind of odd that we've got this 2 trade shows almost, I guess, overlapping in a sense and running together. Usually the big Galleria and Champs and Age all kind of coincide along a week. But this time, Champs and Big are separate in 2 different spots at the same time. So whether you're going to be in Denver or you're going to be in Miami for one of the shows, good luck with that. Definitely going to be going to Glass Roots this year, focusing on that show myself. Going to be set up with Mr. Box Fan Willie. We're going to be busting out some interviews. We've got a room reserved. So if you're an artist out there and you are going to Glass Roots and you want to get on the show, you can contact me, info@wiseguyradio.com, and I can send you all the information. And then either beforehand or at the show, definitely we can set that up and get yourself scheduled up for a kind of a window for the interview. Also, don't forget, this is a platform for you who is listening to advertise and promote yourself as an artist, or if you're also a smoke shop or a collector or just love glass. So please don't be afraid to contact me. I know a lot of folks are intimidated by the idea of being interviewed and recorded. And in all reality, those of you who have listened to most of these episodes, you can tell that really we have a fun just conversation. Most of the time myself, when I hit record, I get the little jitters at first, and then we loosen up, and then we have this fun-ass conversation. And really, again, this is a platform for you to come on here to the show and talk about your life and your glass and your experiences and share it with the world, literally, the world. There's 38 countries now that are tuned into the show. We've got 37, almost 40,000 downloads so far in the past year for the podcast, and that's just downloads. It's not even listens. So I'm assuming we have around 100,000 listens to the show. And every week I'm getting contacted from new artists and new people out there who love glass that are finding the show. So that being said, if you are an avid listener or love the show or want to share it, please do. Whether you post it on Instagram, post it on your Facebooks. If you have a website, you want to put a link on there. Also, you can just I don't know, however you want to go about it. Tell your friends and family. If you're a glass blower and you want your friends and family to know what the hell it is you do, turn them on to the show, because the show is crazy and we talk about lots of fun things about glass. So also want to talk about the Flow magazine right now. They just came out with their recent issue, their summer issue, all about marbles. And it's pretty badass stuff. They also, in their magazine, they announced, and it's kind of a fun thing, on July 23rd, nationally around here, I'm not sure if it's a worldwide event, but they're trying to do the largest marble hunt, and I'm guessing it's worldwide because it's the world's largest marble hunt. And the idea basically is just to expose people out there to glass in a way that is a fun, kind of like scavenger hunt kind of deal. So if you have an area that you're at, you have a park or art center or something where you want to go hide some glass, you can just make some marbles, take pictures of them, and then go hide them somewhere, and maybe post some pictures on your Instagram feeds or your social media feeds, some teaser pics of the vicinity of where they might be, and then just make sure whoever finds them, they then post them and tag you in it, and that way you can know that they found it, and also you can share that someone else found it to the rest of your audience and followers. I thought it was a fun concept because marbles are for everybody, whether you're 5 years old or 500 years old. So that was kind of cool. So as of July 23rd, the world's largest marble hunt started, so definitely go check that out. Also wanted to touch base real quick on the Secret Santa Christmas in July idea that I had. I've actually gotten a pretty good response so far, and I say good response. I've gotten 10 artists so far have signed up for this, 10 artists from around the world, which is amazing. So I'm extending the deadline on this to Monday, August 15th is the deadline for you to get me your information. And basically all I needed for you to do is just either send me a message on the Facebook page for the Wise Guy Radio Facebook page. There will be a link in the show notes on your whatever your podcast player is. If you look at your screen and just touch the logo image, it should reveal the show notes. And then on that show notes will be a link to the Facebook page. And you can just send me a message directly on there, on the Facebook page, with your name, contact information, shipping information. Or you can also just send me an email, info@wiseguyradio.com. That will also be in the show notes. And again, I just need your full name and shipping information. And then my wife and I are going to make an Excel spreadsheet, and then we're going to just randomly just pair everybody up together, swap your information with each other, and then that kind of goes from there with you guys. So make sure that if you are going to be involved in this, that you do follow through. I would hate to get a response from somebody saying that they sent out their pendant and they did not receive one. And I'm not going to call anybody out from doing that, but just please make sure that if you are signing up for this, that you do participate. So again, deadline is August 15th for this. Just definitely look forward to it. I am participating myself. So I hope to have around 50 people, if not more than that. And again, we've got like 40,000 downloads. So I'm assuming, based on the daily downloads of the show, we have around 400 plus folks out there of you listening to this show. So I think it'd be badass if we could all get together and just share our art. I know we all are very busy and don't have a lot of time to make free shit. But if you guys remember back in June, this time, actually it was last month of last year, I did the 30-day challenge, which was a pennant a day for 30 days. And there's no reason that you can't start your day off warming up while your kiln's getting hot and everything else by making a pennant. And you can have this pennant be your pennant for your trade. So again, send me a message on Facebook or info@wiseguyradio.com. Again, both those links will be in the show notes. And other than that, oh yeah, one more thing I want to talk about. I came across a interview with a guy named Mike Malkowitz. I think that's how you say his last name. He wrote a book called Profit First. And this Profit First book is basically a conceptual idea for allocating your money when you make money and revenue into different areas that are completely outside the box on the way regular accounting is done. I don't want to get too many details about it because I'm still learning it myself. I just got the ebook, but he has a podcast called the Profit First Podcast. I definitely recommend it. It is a fun show. And they also, it's high energy, high talk, but it's really amazing knowledge about talking about business and how to really take care of your business and run it properly. And the most part is to increase your profits. I'm going to be reaching out to Mike today later on after I record this to see about getting him on our show because he's had a lot of interviews with other businesses out there, but I haven't heard any interviews yet out of the 100 plus interviews he has with any artists. And I'd be curious to see how he would feel about taking this concept and the system of Profit First and implementing it to the art side of business. And also going to try to get myself on his show to share my journey and my story and then to fine-tune my business and then share that with you all as well. So just check it out. I'll have a link to his podcast. Again, it's called the Profit First Podcast. You can just also Google Profit First. There's an ebook out there that you can actually get a free copy, a download, if you have not yet joined Audible or tried their free trial. You can go to audibletrial.com/wiseguy.radio, WYZGUYRADIO. And again, they'll have a link for that for you guys, make it really easy. And you can go on there and get your 30-day free trial and download the Profit First book, the ebook, and get the newest version of it. It's way better. I actually listened to it almost 100% through the first night I listened to it. So that was pretty sweet. I've been down. My friends Josh and Dave have a studio called Zen Glass. And now that my studio is closed, and my wife has the garage all to herself right now for an art show she has coming up, she's painting. I've been down at Zen the past couple nights, renting some space, catching up on orders, and getting stuff done. And so I've been down there, and while I've been working, I've been listening to the ebook. And also with Zen Glass, and here in the conversation, I am bringing my recording equipment down there on Friday. Right now it's Wednesday. I'm recording this Friday, and I'm going to be interviewing Josh and Dave individually, also together as business partners that run the studio. Also, Christian, who's down there. Christian is a soft glass artist who teaches classes, and they have a hot shop there. He's also going to be coming on for an interview. And then I've got a couple other artists that are in town that are there right now renting space also that are going to be coming on the show. So I'm pretty pumped about it. And I'm also going to try to do a continuous series with Josh and Dave because they do also have classes and people coming in. So we'll be interviewing the artists that come in for their classes and really just stay on top of things with them, helping promote our local glass scene here in Pinellas County in Florida and St. Pete and Clearwater, Dunedin, Largo, what have you. That's where we live here on the west central coast of Florida. So, all right, 16 minutes here. I'm rambling. So let me just check my notes, make sure I haven't forgotten anything. Da-da-da-da-da, All right, summertime. That's one thing I want to say. Make sure y'all are staying hydrated. Holy shit. Studio last night, I went in the studio 4:35 o'clock, and my kiln was done running a cycle from the night before, and doors closed, and it was reading 100 degrees. Which means that the studio space and the area around my kiln was 100 fucking degrees. And it was probably 400 degrees in there. I think I had my liver and one of my kidneys was cooked to the core last night. And so I'm going to get some crackers out and have a little pate later on with some foie gras and some sauteed onions. So stay hydrated, drink lots of water. Lemon water is good for you, tastes good, beats the old plain water, but just stay hydrated. Try and stay away from, have a coffee here and there, maybe a beer here and there, but all that stuff dehydrates us. And water is the root of our life. So definitely drink lots of water, little pinch of salt in there if you need some salt in your system. If you're sweating your ass off, you need to replenish your system with some salt. Himalayan sea salt's good. Little splash of lemon juice, some fresh lemon, and you'll be satisfied. And like a Snickers or some kind of candy bar is always nice too, a little chocolate. So, all right, there you guys go. Stay hydrated. Love ya. It's time for us to get into our 5 daily habits for a more productive day. Yeah, I ramble. I know. I haven't talked to y'all in a while. Either way, love ya. See y'all in about 2 seconds. Okay. It's time for us to get into our 5 daily habits for a more productive day. And again, this is a series I discussed last year, and I wanted to recover the topics because these, I feel, are very important topics for you to stay productive, stay organized, and to stay moving forward with your life in glass. And myself personally, I'm a very routine kind of person, and when I'm thrown out of my routine, it literally takes me 2 to 3 weeks to get back on track. And I find that by having a little checklist like this one in particular, it really makes it a lot easier to stay on track. And this will be a downloadable PDF file on the website. You can go to wiseguymedia.com. Just go to wiseguymedia.com/117. And this little picture we have on created here for you guys will be on there. You can print it out and just pin it up on your wall by your studio space. where you'll see it daily and visibly, and you'll know to go through and double check everything, and 1 through 5, and you'll be good to go. So the 5 daily habits we have are double checking your gases at the beginning and end of each day. Number 2 is creating a checklist for your orders. Number 3 is doing any kind of prep. Number 4 is planning out your entertainment, blah, blah, blah. And number 5 is cleaning. So we're going to be covering these all immensely. Not too super detailed, because a lot of them are common sense, but a lot of them, again, are just good daily habits to get into. So the first one is the most important one, I feel, of all this, is to double check your gas levels at the beginning and end of each shift. Now, it's easy to get stuck and get just focused on your orders, and just all of a sudden, boom, your fucking propane's out or your oxygen's out right in the middle of a piece, which is one of the worst things you can have happen. And if you're prepared by understanding that your gas levels are at a certain level, you can call your gas companies or go get spare tanks, or even better yet, if you're running on liquid oxygen, that you have a backup tank, a K tank, high pressure tank there for you to use. But if you check your levels at the beginning and end of every day, you'll stay on track and understand that you need to get gas when you need to get it. It also makes it so that when you're creating your work, you're understanding how much gas you're going through. Maybe you're wasting gas. Maybe you can conserve gas by working a little bit more efficient. But also by doing this, it's going to give you kind of a better idea. If you go through a tank of gas every 10 days, you'll know by, say, day 10 that you should really keep an eye on your levels and make sure that, say, day 9, sounds like Forrest Gump, day 9 that you're checking your gas levels and calling your company to set up a delivery or a pickup of new gas so you're not running out. So number 1 is double checking, and that's double checking your gas levels at the beginning and end of each shift. Number 2 on this priority checklist is to create a checklist in the order of priority of all the items you need to make. So basically, this is just you writing down on a clipboard, piece of paper, or something like that that's visible for you to see, ways to go about all your orders you have to do. And this goes from maybe repairs, production, customs, etc. Put them in order. Put them in order of however you got to go about it. Myself personally, the whole money talks kind of bullshit moniker, but it's the truth. So that's why I require deposits for custom work. Gets whoever is getting a custom gets their order in line. If they don't give me a deposit, then I typically won't make the piece because I've got things that are in lined already. But if you have some stores or shops or distributors that pay you, say, a net 30, or they pay you a week after they receive your product line, etc., you've got to get that shit done. But again, it's just making a checklist of all your orders, and that way you can also, by having this list, you can check and see what kind of prep you need to get done, and then get all your prep done, which helps out. And you can really get organized by having this checklist. So you can have a column for your custom work. You can have a column for your smoke shop orders. You can have a column for whatever. And then just go through and put stars next to priorities. You can put dates next to them if you have an estimated date of completion that you've given your customer. One thing that I have done in the past and currently present, but I'm stopping now, and I'm going to be discussing this on the next episode, but I'm going to give you a quick little thing about it. I've been using FreshBooks here and there. Actually, I'm going to delete that. So I've been using an online cloud accounting company for the past probably 3 years now. And as of yesterday, I'm actually going to be canceling my subscription with them because I for the first time, actually sent an invoice out to a shop with a full detailed list of what I was creating for them, and they also were going to be paying me over and through this iCloud online invoicing company. And it's the first time I've ever actually accepted payment through them. And I know this is completely sidetracked. I meant to say this in the intro, but I want to tell you now. So I sent them the invoice. They paid it, and this online cloud company decided to reverse the transaction and sent me a nice, lovely email telling me that they do not allow companies to do transactions where there are illegal activities, partaking, drug paraphernalia, etc. I'm actually going to take this email and put it up onto the website so you guys can see. I'm not going to say the company's name. I don't want to promote them, which I used to promote them, and now it sucks that I can't because they pissed me off, and I'm not going to be dealing with this bullshit. We know that there are companies out there that are very particular with how you do transactions. So if you're using any kind of online cloud anything for invoicing, do not, if you're selling pipes, put anything that has to do with pipes on there, or you will either get your money confiscated or you will have it rejected. This was, for me, was a $2,000 almost order that was immediately returned. Now, I'm still getting paid for it another way, but it's just a kick in the nuts and inconvenience for myself and also for the store that made the payment. And then also maybe has me on some stupid fucking checklist, red flag list now because I'm a quote-unquote manufacturing pipes. So just want to put that out there before I forgot about it, but it's important. So anyways, one of the things I used to do with this company, which you can still do, is to create invoices. And these invoices, I had a wire across my studio, and I would clip them on there like they were like a food order or receipts for a restaurant kind of thing. And I would just number in black Sharpie 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 across the board, so I knew who was getting what and what the order was. Or you can also put them on a clipboard and then have them in order from top to bottom type of thing. But this just basically gets you organized so you know what you have looking ahead for orders and also just getting yourself set up for your prep. And if you have a big order, you can then sit down, write what your prep work needs to be, and then you can bang out your prep, and then you bang out your orders, and then damn, you're done, you get paid. Everything's happy. Number 3 is prep work, and the prep work is referring to prep any of your and all blowpipes and rods by polishing the ends. Now, one habit that I have, and I still continue to do, is I do not personally polish. Well, I shouldn't say I do not. I do sometimes, but I don't polish the ends of my rods. My blowpipes I do now because I use a blow hose for most of my blowpipes, but my rods I generally don't. And the reason I don't is because it really just lets me know that that end has not been in the flame because it's sharp and, a sharp edge there. Obviously, when it's in the flame, it rounds the end off. Because of that, though, I do have small micro scratches on my hands and my palms, and I cut myself from here and sometimes. So it's kind of a bad habit. It's just my thing I do. I do not recommend it, though. If you're new and starting this, I recommend getting the habit of polishing everything. All your punny rods, flare out your ends for your blowpipes so you can throw them inside your blow hose assemblies and whatever. But just make sure that you're doing that. And it also helps that if you have guest artists coming into your studio space, that just out of respect to them that you are polishing all your shit ahead of time. Now, obviously, they may come in with their own stuff. If they don't, then they can get material from you and they can do it themselves. But just the idea is just to make sure that you're polishing your blowpipe ends and your rods. That way, you're not cutting your lips, which I've done before, cut your hands, etc., just from stupid, lazy habits. So number 3, prep work. And the prep work refers to polishing all your blowpipes and your punty rods. Number 4 is planning out your entertainment. Have a jug of water and apply sunblock. So planning is basically just planning out your day outside of the glass, inside the studio. So if you have some movies you want to watch, you have some podcast episodes of the Wise Guy Radio Show you want to get up and download, you have an ebook you want to listen to that you got from audible.com/Wise Guy Radio, whatever. Plan it out ahead of time. That way when you get busy and get working, you can stay in your groove. So I usually will sometimes, I'll have my iPad out if I watch Netflix on, or I'll have a TV out with a DVD player, and I'll do like a Pirates of the Caribbean 3 movie or 4 movie, however many they have out now, back to back to back, or I'll watch all the Harry Potters over a couple of days, or watch all the Star Wars movies, just things I try to plan out. And that way, like I said, you can get to work and not have to worry about stopping and going and turning shit off or turning things on or whatever. If you have CDs, music, Pandora, whatever you're listening to, just have all that shit planned out. Also, make sure you have your fluids all ready. Typically, I have a big bottle of water myself, my little squeezy bottle that's full. And just make sure you keep that full. And then it's a good time when it's empty to just go take a quick breather, fill it back up. But ideally, if you have plenty of fluids with you, it's just less time to get off the torch. Because, again, all of our money we make is when we're behind a torch, not when we're walking to the kitchen or into the break room or to wherever. So any kind of snacks you want, whatever. Whatever your safety breaks, all that kind of shit. And then, of course, apply sunblock. Now, sunblock, they say nowadays, that even if you use a 70 proof, SPF sunblock, usually an hour after the words, it's only around a 30. So just make sure that whatever sunblock you're using or whatever, that you apply it. And you apply it constantly throughout your day because it does get worn out and thinned. And it's going to save you from getting torch burn and potential future down the road skin cancer issues. So, yeah, plan it out. Plan out your day. Figure out what you're doing. Binge listening to podcasts, watching movies back to back to back, binge on Netflix, etc. just get that shit planned out. That way you can stay behind the torch. Myself personally, I like to work in 3-hour increment shifts. So I'll do 3 hours, take a half an hour to an hour break, work 3 hours, and then like a 12-hour day. You can get 3 long shifts in, and kind of a warm up or a wind down at the beginning or end. But if you plan it out and you stick to that plan and schedule, you are going to be super efficient and organized. And number 5 is to clean. Clean your bench. Always clean your bench before and after each session. Now, if you come into your studio space and your bench is clean from the night before, you might have a couple things laying around you need to pick up or whatever. But if it's not needed to be, well, good for you. Clean bench. If you come into your studio space and your bench is a fucking clusterfuck, clean it. Because there's nothing worse than trying to get organized, trying to get focused, and all you have is all this shit everywhere. I find it funny that when people like to post, the world's dirtiest glass blowing bench, and to me it looks like the world's most unorganized glass blower. We all do it. We all have the habit of doing it. But if you can get into the habit of not doing it, for one, again, it's going to give you a clear mind and a clear focus. 2, if you have family or friends that come visit your studio space, they're going to be like, holy shit, this dude or dudette is organized and clean. It also makes it so where you have a clean air, a clean bench. There's nothing worse than having a dirty bench and you have glass dust everywhere. There's also nothing worse than, dropping some silver or looking for color amongst all your shit or a punty or whatever. So keep your bench clean. Get a small little dust broom and a dustpan. You can go to the dollar store. It costs $1, not a big deal. Get some little plastic bins. Again, the dollar store, they're probably $1. These little shoebox bins that you can put all your scraps in if you need to, like your ends, your punnies and stuff. Make sure you have your little knockoff bin with your water and stuff. Keep all that scrap. I'm getting to get into it on the next episode. I got some answers. I've been actually asked about the idea of weighing out your raw materials at the end of your day, that is your scrap, and how you can write that off. A lot of folks like the idea of just throwing it in the garbage. And if you weigh it out and save it, and every quarter it could be a tax write-off because it does not go towards your cost of manufacturing. It is, but it's waste. So, if you have, it's just for a quick instance, if you have a 4-inch point and you're only using 3 inches of that to produce a product and you have scrap left over, that's garbage. Well, that garbage is the waste. Whatever it took to make the piece is not. And there's 2 ways of going about it, and we're going to get into that in the next episode, so stay tuned for that, kind of get some more detail about it. But just clean your bench. Clean, clean, clean. So just to recap, guys and gals, for a more productive day, you want to do, number 1 is to check your gas levels before and after each shift. Maybe even keep a log so you can see how much you're going through. Write down your numbers, your PSI levels, etc. Sometimes it's kind of hard to do, but for liquid especially, but you get the idea. Number 2 is to make a checklist of all your orders and priorities for the week or the month. I like to get my month lined up, sometimes the weeks, whatever, but mostly the month. So make a checklist of your orders and priority. Print out invoices if you can. Let your customers know when they are going to be getting their glass. That way you can stick to a date and time and follow through with it. Number 3 is prep work. Prep all your blow tubes and punty rods. Polish your ends, flare out your ends, whatever you got to do, but make sure that shit is polished and not sharp. Number 4 is to plan out your day. Plan out your entertainment, music, movies, etc. Make sure all your fluids, your water is all there ready for you so you don't have to worry about stopping and breaking and having to go get water. And then also make sure you apply sunblock. And number 5 is to clean your bench. Always clean your bench before and after each session. A clean bench is a healthy bench, which means you have a healthy studio and a healthy, focused brain. So I hope this helps you guys out. It's kind of a long-winded ramble here on all these topics. But again, this is just me helping you, help me, help you. So love you guys. Love you so much. Thanks for tuning in. You're the best. Enjoy episode 117. Hope you guys have a beautiful week. And on the next episode, again, we're going to be getting into the discussion of how and why you should save all your garbage and scraps and weigh that shit out as a tax write-off. Until then, we'll talk to you on the next episode, number 119 of the Wise Guy Radio Show. Love y'all. Don't forget to go to iTunes. Subscribe to iTunes if you have an iPhone. If you do not have an iPhone, you can get this on podcast Catcher, I think it's called. There's also Stitcher. You can go to Google Play. You can also go to wiseguymedia.com and listen to the episodes there. And just make sure you go to wiseguymedia.com, subscribe to our email. And if you want to be a part of the Secret Santa in July, deadline is August 15th. Email me or message me on Facebook with your information, and we will swap it out, and you will get a badass pendant in the mail from someone in the audience. Until next time, you guys be good. Happy melting. Have a wise day. Peace. This episode is also brought to you by C-Cube Co. C-Cube now creates a wide range of specialty and one-of-a-kind artistic glassware, items such as hand-blown wine crafts, insulated coffee mugs, pint glasses, and custom piggy banks that you can have personalized with imprinting, logos, and color accents that are available. Just go to C-Cube Co, that's SEACUBECO.com for more information. That's CCubeCo.com. This episode is also brought to you by The Flow Magazine. Since its inception, the focus of The Flow has been to provide a bond among members of the lampworking community. This has been accomplished by developing relationships with the finest artists and sharing their techniques with you through in-depth, step-by-step tutorials. In every issue, you can enjoy great content with the hottest artists and cutting-edge techniques using the latest industry products. These features, along with the continuation of the Women in Glass edition, Glasscraft Emerging Artist Awards, inspiring gallery showcases, dynamic general interest articles, as well as health and safety information, make The Flow the leading international lampworking journal. For more information or to subscribe to The Flow, go to theflowmagazine.com. That's theflowmagazine.com. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show. If you have any questions, comments, or remarks, please leave them in the show notes page area where it says comments. We'll see you soon. Have a wise night.